Hello, friends. This is Dave Hurwitz, executive editor at ClassicsToday.com. Well, I guess you've heard the news. The crowds are lining up by the tens of thousands to get Simon Rattle's new recording of Mahler's 7th Symphony, his third one. Not. Right. Yeah, okay. I mean, come on. Record industry. Well, there's no record industry anymore. It's just a fragmented collection of individual local globules, which, due to the perversity of international communications, somehow manages to get its stuff all over the world. But it's not an international product anymore in many ways. I mean, Simon Rattle did the Mahler Third, has so far at least 3 times. At least. I don't know about videos and other TV type things, but I'm talking about physical products, discs and streaming goodies like that. He did it first with the City of Birmingham Symphony Orchestra, and it sucked. I think it was live. The sound was terrible. The performance was barely perfunctory. Oh my goodness, just horrid. Then he did it again with the Berlin Philharmonic. I don't think that's available as physical product except in the Berlin Phil Mahler box, which I have sitting over there, which I'm never going to touch as long as I live. He did it again, and it was better. It was better. This is true. He managed to, with a great deal of effort and perspicacity, to raise its level to that of mediocre. And now he's done this one with his new orchestra, the Bavarian Radio Symphony Orchestra. Don't they pay any attention to what the guy's done before? I mean, they just don't care. They don't. I mean, it's like it's their thing. These people live in such a bubble. They're delusional. So here we have a Mahler 4 that if you went on the night, and saw it, you'd have been happy. It's a good performance. It is. It's good. Let's get straight away. Let's clear that out. It's idiomatic. It has the right moments. It's not an exceptional performance, but it's a decent subscription night performance. It had no business being preserved and reissued because Simon Rattle, in case you hadn't noticed, is not a Mahler conductor. I don't know what he is actually. What is he great at? We still haven't figured it out. No one knows. Certainly his discs don't tell us, do they? It's really quite extraordinary. There he is, grinning sheepishly from the cover of the disc, asking like, oh, here I am doing this again? Yes, he is. I mean, who needed 3 Mahler 7s? It's Mahler's least popular symphony. It really is extraordinary that this thing even exists. So, let's talk about the performance. Let's talk about music instead of the ephemera of the performing arts universe. Music. Okay, the beginning. Well, the introduction is really atmospheric. The sound is nice with a nice deep bass. The tenor horn soloist is terrific. It's a little bit on the sluggish side, just a hair, just a bit. A lot of this performance is just a hair one way or the other. But he launches the first movement quite well. It's terrific until you get to that moonlit episode, which for some reason it doesn't quite come off. It sounds as if it's a little bit too loud, a little bit too lacking in atmosphere, I think is probably the question. Then the return to the Allegro is really well managed with heavy-duty brass, the third trombone and the tenor horn and all that stuff is really dark and it's very well done. But then as we get to the coda, there is something missing. I'm not sure whether it's a balance issue or whether there's just something missing. But just before the march comes in, it goes dum bum ba dum da dum ba da bum bum ba da dum ba dum ba dum. Well, when it goes bum bum ba da dum da 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 da, it's like the top line isn't there. Something ain't there. It's not brought out the way it's supposed to be brought out. And then the rest of the movement continues pretty decently. Okay, it's all right. First Nachtmusik, too quick. Period. I mean, remember, the symphony has no real slow movement. The two Nachtmusiken, plural, Nachtmusiken, get it? Are stand-ins. And they're both andantes. The first one is a march, the second is a serenade. But it needs to have more spookiness and just a little bit of a more measured tempo so that the players can articulate the notes. Bernstein, as usual, got it right in his first recording, particularly. Da 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 wa dum ba da da. It's a march instead of do 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 do. It doesn't work. Just doesn't work. And again, the sacrifice is atmosphere. You want atmosphere. Well, we notice right away that this orchestra has no tam-tam. Damn it. I mean, it's not that tam-tam matters. As I said before, the reason I always harp on tam-tams, first of all, because I love tam-tams, but second of all, because it's indicative of the ability of the conductor to pay attention to the atmospherics of the piece, to the color, to the fact that balances ought to be a certain way. So anyway, you don't hear any tam-tams. Okay, fine. The slimy tango. These are throwaway moments, and it's a pity. There's a lot more in this music than he wrings out of it. The scherzo is a total failure. That's easy. I mean, it's just not slithery enough. It's not spooky. I mean, it's not horrible. Again, it's well played. The tempo is pretty good, but somehow the atmosphere is there, like the tuba. You can do all these crazy, strange things that pop out of it. They don't pop. I mean, the snap pizzicato snaps, I give it that. But other than that, it's just not special. The second Nachtmusik is just way too fast. Boulez did it that way too. Da 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 da. No. It's not one of Dvorak's train tunes. It shouldn't be chugging. It's da 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 da. It has to have this. It has to purr like a cat. And I have two cats. I know what they purr like. It just has to be. It needs to flow. Of course, it needs to flow. But he takes it so quickly that at the big climax, the one that's going da 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 da. There's no way. I mean, the violins are playing as fast as they humanly can already, and it's frantic, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all, and you don't get the distinction between the harp and the guitar or the mandolin the way you should with the little plucked sounds. I mean, there's just an absence of color generally, and hence we get to the finale, the Rondo from Hell. Well, give the trumpets credit. They play marvelously. I mean, boy, is that hard. They keep going da 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 da, all three of them, and they're all spot on. But it's another performance. Boy, when you've got the bells with the tam-tams, dun dun pow, tam-tam bells clanging. No, they don't. It doesn't. It just doesn't. And you have to ham up this movement. It's an outrageous celebration of the ordinary. Most people don't get the joke. I don't think Simon Rattle gets the joke. In fact, I've never really detected any humor in anything that he's done. And so it's not terrible. It moves. It doesn't have dead spots. It goes. The sections are well related, but it isn't full of that kind of grotesque personality that Mahler built into the music. And it's all there. It's all there. I think he actually uses a keyboard glockenspiel at one point, which is to his credit. As Mahler demands keyboard and regular glockenspiels in this piece. But the performance itself just doesn't catch fire. And if you really want a Mahler seventh, what's the point of this? Another one, his third, again. Useless. So keep on listening, friends. Thanks for joining me. Take care.